You know, usually here at All Things Wild, we talk about amazing animals that we currently share the planet with. Well, unless I'm at the John Day Fossil Beds Museum or the Madera County Fossil Site, or when I was talking about my elephant ancestors and relatives. But that's beside the point. Today we're going to talk about an animal that many people may have heard of, but is still mysterious and went extinct within recent human memory. And that is the thylacine. The thylacine is one of the few carnivorous marsupials that survived into the modern era, the others being the numbat and the closely related Tasmanian devil. This predator inhabited mainland Australia, the island of Tasmania, and New Guinea, and was about the size of a medium to large sized dog. The thylacine got its nickname, the Tasmanian Tiger, from those distinct black stripes on the hind quarter of its body, and early European settlers to Australia and Tasmania thought that, hey, this is a carnivorous animal with stripes, let's call it a tiger. The thylacine made its living using those humongous jaws and powerful neck muscles and large teeth to take down animals like kangaroos, wombats, pretty much anything that came in its path. Remember, this was the largest mammalian carnivore in the area for a long time. Its only real competition was the saltwater crocodile. But they didn't very often compete directly, so it was kind of in balance. In fact, the thylacine didn't have competition until people came to Australia in the form of the first peoples, the Aborigines. And with them came dogs. And those dogs soon became wild and became what we now know as the dingo. And the dingo was a direct competitor of the thylacine. So about 2,000 years ago, the thylacine disappeared from mainland Australia. And it is believed that competition not only from people, but from the dingo led to its demise. But on the island of Tasmania, the thylacine persevered. And it was actually because of people that it actually changed up its behavior. It went from hunting kangaroos and wombats to hunting something that the people brought with them, and that was the sheep. Sheep had become quite plentiful on the island, as that was a mainstay of the agriculture that was forming on Tasmania, and they were easier to hunt than kangaroos. So the thylacine quickly started to take advantage of the easier food source. But that was much to the dismay and the agitation of the sheep farmers of Tasmania. After all, this thing was killing off their livelihood. So what do you do when something is messing with your livelihood? You mess right back with it. And sheep farmers on Tasmania killed the poor thylacines by the thousands, even the tens of thousands of times. And pretty soon they were becoming scarcer and scarcer until they went extinct in the wild. And the last individual was captured in 1933 and brought to the Hobart Zoo, where it lived for 3 more years before dying in 1936. This is footage of the last thylacine, referred to as Benjamin, even though modern research shows that Benjamin was more than likely a Benjamina. That's beside the point. It's really eerie. It's almost like looking at a ghost. In fact, it really is looking at a ghost. This was an animal that filled a niche very nicely where few other animals did. And it was successful for tens of thousands of years until the arrival of man. Now granted, back then, in the early 20th century, we didn't have the same sentiment, well, mainstream anyway, as far as the conservation of species and working to make a solution rather than just straight up get rid of the problem by means of eradicating it. Depending on who you talk to, there are many, many sightings that still come in from mainland Australia that support the theory that the thylacine actually survived in parts of southern and western Australia. Now, these parts of the continent are much more remote, much more sparsely populated, and it is believed that this creature still exists, although it's much more relegated to the realm of cryptozoology now, as mainstream science sees the thylacine as extinct. Although, if they found one alive and kicking, I'd be thrilled. And I bet you there'd be a lot of people who'd be thrilled too. So, keep looking, everyone. Well, we are going to wrap up this creature feature on the thylacine. If you like it, give it a thumbs up, share, subscribe, comment down below if you have any thoughts. Check the links in the description. There's some cool stuff there, as always. This is Zach, and thank you so much for joining me. Have a wild day, everyone.